The Miami Dolphins are at the half point, which is weird because it's not an even half point where you play 8 games because we had 16 and we play 17. So I do it normally after week 9. And we had time. So I'm going to talk about all that stuff. Let's jump into it. What is up, Finn? And how's everyone doing today on this Monday? Miami Dolphins did not play any football yesterday, so we got to sit back and kind of talk, well, not talk, but kind of watch what was happening around the NFL and all that good stuff. But I do have to shout out two sponsors. Obviously, our first one is Sleeper. Check out Sleeper, fantastic fantasy app. I use them all the time. I'll be using them on Wednesday's picks. I'll be using them on Fridays. Preview for the Buffalo Bills game. Go check them out. Use promo code DDW. Get 100% matched up to $100. And if you're like, hey, I just want to try it out, you get a free $20 entry, no deposit needed, as well as check out Mando. And you might be asking yourself, what's Mando? I got all this great stuff over here. You've probably seen commercials of it on TV. Got some deodorant, got some sprays, some creams. I absolutely love this stuff. We're not sweating as much as we were with the wins and losses, but we got some really, really great stuff here. It's created by a doctor who saw firsthand a normal BO was being misdiagnosed. This stuff lasts up to 72 hours. Baking soda free, paraben free. Check it out. Mando starter pack is perfect for the new customer. So again, if you've never used this stuff before, I got a deal for you. It comes with a solid stick deodorant and a cream tube deodorant. 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash, maybe deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As special offers for my listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with exclusive code. Use the code DDW at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. So you get yourself 2 of these, and then you can get whatever you want site-wide, 20% off. Again, shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to the sweat stains and a hello to long-lasting freshness. Go check out Mando, and thank you so much for sponsoring this video. For real though, this stuff, especially the Mount Fuji, smells amazing. I had my daughter come down because my daughter comes down here sometimes, and she grabbed this one. And she was like, Dad, what is this? I said, it's deodorant. You want to smell it? And I had her smell it. She went, mmm. So go grab yourself some Mando and use the code and get yourself 20% off. So this is what we're going to be doing today. Now, I don't know if a trade has happened yet. If a trade happened, obviously 7 a.m., you get your videos from me. If a trade does happen, you'll obviously get a video from me. I do have physical therapy at 9, from 9 to 10. So if a trade happens between there, it probably will, because I'll be at physical therapy. You'll get a video as soon as I get home. But as of right now, nothing. It's Sunday night. So, you know, the next 2 days is probably when it could happen. We do have 2 teams playing tonight, so maybe they'll wait till Tuesday. But what I want to do is I kind of want to go over the first half of the season, and then I'm going to try to predict the second half of the season and see how things go and where I think the Dolphins will end up and how that will help or hurt any of that stuff. So I'm going to run down really quick Tua stats, Achane, and Waddle, because those are our 3 leaders on offense, and then kind of talk about the defense a little bit. So we have Tua Tagovailoa. He has a 67.9 completion percentage, which is 14th in the NFL. He's thrown for 1,779 yards, which is 10th in the NFL. And he has 15 passing touchdowns, which is 6th in the NFL. Now, if I just stop there, that's decent, right? Now, obviously not for a quarterback who's getting paid as much as Tua is, but that's decent to be 10th in the NFL in yards and 6th in the NFL in touchdowns at the midway point of the season. But here's the problem. He has 11 interceptions on the season, which is number 1 in the NFL. One of them was an Ole by Jalen Waddle. So you could say 10, but still that would be tied for most in the NFL, which is bad. He needs to stop turning the ball over. There was 3 games this year where he didn't, against the Jets, the Panthers, and the Falcons. Outside of that, he has turned the ball over. Either 1 interception against the Patriots, 1 interception against Buffalo. He had 3 interceptions against the Indianapolis Colts. He had the interceptions against Baltimore. He had the 3 interceptions against Cleveland. Like, he needs to stop turning the ball over, and it's a problem. Now, I'll talk about each of these guys at nauseum, not nauseum, but I will talk about these guys after I get done with the stats. Then we have De'Von Achane, kind of the bright, shining light of this offense. He has 606 rushing yards, which is 6th in the NFL. He has 5 yards per attempt, which is 12th. He has 3 touchdowns. He has 274 receiving yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. All-purpose touchdowns, he has 7, which is tied for 3rd among receivers, tight ends, and running backs, which is really good. Then we have Jalen Waddle. He has 586 receiving yards, which is 7th in the NFL. And he has 4 touchdowns, receiving touchdowns, which is tied for 4th in the NFL. So again, we have Waddle and Achane who are doing really good things. I think if Darren Waller didn't get hurt, we'd probably see more from him because he also has 4 receiving touchdowns. So on the offensive side, we have something there. But again, Tua's having a bad year. He's having a really bad year. Again, you take away the interception, say he only threw 5, then you look at his, and he has an 87.6 passer rating, which is 23rd in the NFL. But that passer rating is so low because he's thrown 11 interceptions and he's had 2 fumbles, give or take. So he's turning the ball over. He's bringing back that name of Tua turning the ball over. And he needs to do better. Obviously, he needs to do better. And then you're looking at the defense. The Miami Dolphins, Brooks is number 1 in the NFL, 93 tackles. He has 6 tackles for a loss. Bradley Chubb has 4 sacks. I think he leads the team in sacks, which puts him at tied for 22nd. Yes, Bradley Chubb is 4, Jalen Phillips is 3, and Tyrell Dotson is 3 when it comes to sacks. And then Tyrell Dotson, 67 tackles. He's tied for 8th, and 6 tackles for loss. Now, when you look at the team statistically, points, they are 25th on offense. Yards, they are 28th. Turnovers, they are 29th. They have 15 turnovers on offense. First downs, they are 29th, but they do have a very good 3rd down conversion rate. They are 25th. 25th in passing offense, and they are 24th in rushing offense, even though we have a running back that is 6th in the NFL in rushing yards. Go figure. And then on defense, they are 27th in points, 23rd in yards, 28th in getting turnovers, getting 7 turnovers. They are 10th in passing defense, but that's because not a lot of teams run on them, because they are 28th in rushing defense. When it comes to 3rd downs, they got worse after this previous Ravens game. Again, it's been fluctuating. I think before the Browns game, their 3rd down offense was 3rd, if I remember correctly. You guys can go back and watch my preview videos where I show it. They're now 18th in 3rd and 4th down offense, and there's 3rd down defense is 27th, and their 3rd down offense is 30th. And their red zone is 15th and 10th. 15th on offense, 10th on defense. So it's not good. But overall, looking at the first half of the season, it's just disappointing. Incredibly disappointing. You come out, start the season, you get your butt whooped by the Indianapolis Colts 33-8. Then you have a fighting chance against the New England Patriots, but obviously, you can't go down the field and score a game-winning touchdown. You were down by 6. Then you got Buffalo, where you have the running into the kicker, and then you have the interception that kind of sealed the game, us losing by 10. You finally beat a team in the Jets 27-21, but again, that was too close for comfort. You lose to the Carolina Panthers by 3, because just so many things wrong with that. The Chargers game, you finally march down the field, score, you're up by 1 point, and your defense can't hold on to it for 45 seconds. Cleveland beats the brakes off of you 31-6. You come out all of a sudden and you win against Atlanta 34-10, really making everyone sit back and go, where the crap was this team? And then on national TV, 28-6, you get destroyed by the Baltimore Ravens. On defense, they did whatever they wanted to, whenever they wanted to. So it was bad. And the first half of the season is bad. And it's not even like, because there's bits and pieces that you can point to that were like, this is why we lost this game. The team sucks, man. It's like, you could pick some games where the defense lost us the game. You could pick some games where the offense lost us games. And it's like a back and forth thing. It's bad. Tua's been bad this year. There's no getting around it. I've been talking about I think it was after the Bills game. I was like, we got to move on. Or it might have been the Patriots game. I don't remember. But I had if you guys remember, and again, I've read some comments on my last video where I said, I feel like I'm right 70% of the time. And that apparently rubs some people the wrong way, which makes me laugh because they pick out like 3 or 4 things I was wrong about. I'm like, do you know how many times I come on here and either give my prediction or my assessment on things? And then the funny thing is the things I've read that people say I'm wrong, I never said. You didn't want to admit Tua has a weak arm. I'm like, that's the only thing. I talked about that during his prospects video, how he doesn't have a strong arm and he has a below league average strength of arm. And I compared him to Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, who didn't have strong arms. And then people were like, you couldn't get off that he would take us to the glory or whatever. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I never called him a franchise quarterback. I said I couldn't, and I never called him it's just. And then I sit here and I defend myself when it's like, it's all out there on film. And what I've come to the conclusion, especially with Tua, because Tua is so polarizing with this fan base. If you say anything positive about Tua, everything else that you will say after that is ignored. Right? Like I'll say good things about Tua, how his like anticipation and his accuracy is good, yada, yada. And then I'll say, but God, he is inconsistent. He can't stay healthy. He chokes in these certain games, blah, blah, blah. But what people do is they hear me say the good things and then they stop listening and they start typing. Well, he can't win the big games and he can't stay healthy. And I'm like, if you would have just kept listening, you would have heard me say that. So it's very polarizing, Tua. So, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because I had on Twitter, I don't know if you guys who follow me on Twitter, I'm getting threats from Tuaneers that they're going to take me down. And they're going to wipe out all of my hard work. This is Tuaneers, the Twitter handle or whatever. They said the Tuaneers are coming for you. So, what am I categorized? It just makes me laugh. I feel I'm very even when it comes to my praise and critique of Tua. But anyway, Tua sucks this year. Like he had a good game against Atlanta. And he had like a decent game against the Chargers. Again, he marched us down the field, got us the lead, but he's just not good. He was not good against Indy. He was not good against Cleveland. Not good against Baltimore. It's just and I kept talking about it. Like for the first 3 games of the season, I was like, he is off. His mechanics are off, or something's off with him. And I even noticed it, I think, against the Panthers, where he threw the ball and he turned away from the pressure. But then you'll watch the Falcons game where he'll stay in there and take hits, and it's like he's so inconsistent. And that is my biggest thing. And if you go back to my prospect video in 2020 where I broke down, I said the biggest thing, even after we drafted him, I said the biggest thing that worries me about Tua, and either drafting him or now that we've drafted him, depending on which video, I said is his health. I said that hip injury is going to be a problem. It's going to shorten his NFL career. And it's going to start deteriorating and it's going to start affecting his play. I said that in 2020. And I feel like that's what's happening now with his throws, because he's throwing rainbows. You go back and watch when he was, when we had Devontae Parker, I think it was 2021, against the Giants. He threw a beautiful, corner pass to Devontae Parker, and it was right over the defense. He was able to throw these passes and the accuracy and stuff, but as the seasons are going on, they're just becoming more rainbowish and more inconsistent. And I honestly think it's his footwork and his mechanics, and I think it's his hip. I really do. Again, go back and listen to all the things I said. You know what? If you really want my assessment of Tua and my assessment of Tua throughout the years, go listen to my Tua expectation videos, and then you'll see where I'm at. Because I think in 2024, I was like, he needs to do better than 2023. He needs to do better here. He needs to get over the hump. Like, I was consistent. Even after 2023, when he had a good year, I was still like, he needs to get over the hump, because the Ravens game was bad where he threw the interceptions. Then he got the Buffalo game, and I was just consistent. But again, people pick and choose. And then you got Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle, which are the bright spots of this offense, and something you really can build around when it comes to the future GM and obviously not right now, but the future head coach. The defense is just like, Sealer got paid and then disappeared. And, you know, you look at his stats when it comes to double teams, and he was still getting the same amount of double teams as he was with Calais Campbell. But I think it's just because he's trying to do it himself, and it's not easy for him. I don't know what's going on with Sealer, but he disappeared. I don't know where he is and what he's doing, but he's not the guy who got paid. Not saying he's given up because he got the money, because to me, that's not the type of player he is, but he's just disappeared. I don't even think he has a sack on the season, if I'm being honest with you. No. He does not have a sack on the season. Does he have a tackle for loss at least? Kenneth, yeah, he has 4 tackles for losses, but no sacks. So he is 3rd on the team in tackles for losses with 4, but no sacks. How many QB hits does Jalen Phillips have? 7. 7 QB hits, but only 3 sacks. The defense is bad, man. And I think a lot of us expected the secondary to be bad and the front 7 to be good, right? Like, I never said they're going to be elite. I just expected them to be good. I still worried about the secondary because, again, if you can get the quick passes off, it can nullify the pass rush, and it's the complete 180. The secondary is actually doing pretty well. Rasul Douglas was, a fantastic signing by this team. It's the front 7. They're getting no pressure at all. Terrell Dotson has 3 sacks. Jordan Brooks has 2.5 sacks. Like, they're just non-existent. And it drives me nuts. The run defense is just horrible. And it takes to be in a shootout in a year where 2 is not good. And then we don't have Tyreek Hill, and we're dealing with injuries. And then we sign James Daniels. He gets hurt. Austin Jackson's hurt. One thing after the other, man. This season, it just went right down the crapper real quick. And some people say, like, oh, when did you give up on the season, or when did you think the season was over? After we lost to the Bills. Going 0-3, I was like, you ain't coming back from that. And then we went 2-6, and everyone's like, hey, we went 2-6 last year. Nah, man. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the rest of the season, because we have Buffalo coming up. We have Washington, who, God, I don't know if you guys watched the game with James Daniels. He dislocated his elbow, it went the other way. And thank God it was not his throwing arm, but geez Louise, he's going to be out for a hot minute. You got the Saints and the Jets, and you got the Steelers, the Bengals, who dropped 40-something on the Browns, but couldn't, the Bears, but couldn't finish that game because of their defense, and their receiver came out and said it. You got Tampa Bay, and you got the Patriots. Now, obviously, it's not going to be much of a spoiler. You can still watch Friday's preview video, but the Dolphins aren't beating the Bills. Now, this game becomes more interesting because what happens without Jaden Daniels, but I still think Washington wins this one with Marcus Mariota, because they still have a good offense with Deebo Samuel and all those weapons. And then I still think their defense is pretty decent, even though they just got their butts whooped by Seattle. I think it was 38-14. I think they scored like a last-second touchdown or something like that. Then we got a bye week, and this is where it gets interesting right here, right? Because if you lose these next 2 games, you pretty much lock up like say we lose these next 2 games, you pretty much like lock up that number 1 pick almost, because you'll be 2-11. You'll have 2 wins. The Saints will have 2 wins. And as you can see here, everyone else is around 2 wins, but you have the easier strength of schedule. So you'll pretty much lock up that first overall pick. But I could see the Dolphins beating the Saints, but I think they lose to the Jets at the Jets because of their defense and because of how their offense plays. And I think the Dolphins will be mentally checked out. Then I think they lose to the Steelers because, you know, it's going to be in Pittsburgh on a Monday night in December. I think they lose that game. This is where it becomes interesting right here, right? Because they dropped 40 something and you still have Jamar Chase and you still have, you know, T. Higgins and all those guys, and Joe Flacco still a good quarterback. I think this becomes a shootout. And I said the same thing about this game, and obviously I was wrong because their defense really stopped the Dolphins. Could be the Bengals. And then it could be Tampa Bay. And then they might be resting their starters, but they might be fighting for Buffalo to win the division. 3 wins. 3 wins. That's the most I can see. And again, maybe this 4 wins. But I honestly think it would be like that, or it would be like this. But I think that this Miami Dolphin team, from what I'm seeing right now, is a 4-win team. And if the first prediction I had, where the Dolphins lose the next 2, then they beat the Saints and they lose to the Jets, going into those last 4 games, you are a 3-win team. I think Mike McDaniel gets fired before the Monday night game against the Steelers because you got that extra day to prepare. I think he gets fired for that game. But I honestly think this is a 4-win team. Now, how does that bode well for getting the number 1 overall pick? Well, that depends on the Saints and the Titans, who the Titans put up a fight against the Chargers, but the Saints and the Titans and the Jets and the Browns, because how that's like the race for the number 1 pick is between those 5 teams. Those are kind of the worst teams in the NFL right now, is Dolphins, Jets, Titans, Saints. Giants are 2-7 as well, but again, I think they'll win more games than expected. Cardinals are 2-5. I think they'll win more. The Raiders are 2-6. I think they'll win some games, especially because they had a close fought game against the Jaguars. But I think that's what it all comes down to. And I think after Sunday, let me look at the Tankathon. We're still picking 4. But if you see here, the Giants kind of snuck up. But the Giants have a harder strength of schedule. See how all of a sudden the strength of schedules changed? Because their strength of schedule was, the Jets' strength of schedule was 4 point something. So the Dolphins have an easier strength of schedule. So again, if these teams all win, whoop, the Dolphins would go up. So a lot of interesting thing. And again, if Cleveland keeps losing, then they probably get the number 1 pick. But if you want a quarterback, the teams you have to worry about are the Raiders, the Browns, the Jets, and the Saints. Tennessee won't be taking a quarterback. The Giants won't be taking a quarterback. Arizona could, but I doubt it. And Cincinnati won't be taking a quarterback. So you're kind of worrying about those teams at who's taking a quarterback. But overall, first half of the season, giant disappointment. You know, obviously we had higher expectations. I think at this point in the season, some of us thought the Dolphins could easily be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a 6-win team, a 5-win team going into the Ravens game. Looking at like a 5-3 going into the Ravens game. And this was the hard stretch. So comment below. Let me know what you guys think of the first half of the season. I might see you later today. If Dolphins pull off any trades, I will definitely see you tomorrow with any trades that happen with the Miami Dolphins. We'll break it down, what happens, what doesn't happen, all that stuff. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. That ends up.